All right. Thanks, Kristen. We are live, another AMA coming to you from New York. So wanted to talk about a few things. First, I wanted to thank the community for the amazing acceptance or whatever you guys did with the new coins, the new staking coins that we added. We had thanks a million, because we had several $1 million come in. I think 3 million worth of these coins come in the first day, and another probably several millions this day, today. Well, the last 24 hours, on top of the Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think just $2 million worth of Ethereum came in yesterday, just Ethereum. So just crazy flood of coins. We love it. We need more, especially Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. We don't have enough of that. But love the Chainlink community. It's amazing, right? A few $1 million worth of Chainlink just showed up. So we're really excited about that. Obviously, we partner with Chainlink on a few things. And I had Sergey on my Moip show. So if you haven't watched that, go and watch it. A great interview. So again, thanks a million. I wanted to talk to you about a few things. So let's start with kind of looking at the past. I think talking to a few people on Twitter and on emails that you guys are sending me. Thanks again for, I wake up every morning with a few blessings from a few people. So thank you for all of that. That's a great way to wake up. You know, keep sending them. Puts a smile on your face. But it's clear to me that people don't understand that we're living in different times. Yes, obviously COVID, if you ask people about COVID, they'll say, of course, yeah, pandemic, it hasn't been around for 100 years. But the financial situation we're going through is also like a once in a lifetime, right? And the reason for that is that if you look at the 80s or 90s or the 2000s or even the last decade, right? And it didn't matter if there was a recession or not. You could always save a little bit of money, put it aside for a rainy day, and you'll have enough for your kids. You'll have enough to pay for college. You'll have enough to buy a home eventually one day for the younger people. That is not what we're going through right now. This is not all same, right? So and why? Why is that? Because the debasement of the money, when you see governments debasing their currency, it's an invisible force. It is something that is happening to you. It's happening to your, basically, think about it this way. If you worked for the last 20 years and you accumulated wealth, you converted your time, 20 years of your time into this money. Most of it went on spending, right? You had to pay rent, or you had to get married, or you had to put a down payment on your house, and then you save just a little bit. But that is the accumulated wealth that you created. And that accumulated wealth is being eaten away. No matter what happens, it's being eaten away by inflation. And normally inflation is low, 2 to 3%. That's what the government tells you, right? Consumer price index, 2% inflation per year. That has nothing to do with the inflation of money. What does it mean, inflation of money? It's how much money is in circulation. Obviously, we all understand that if suddenly there was 10 times as much money, then each dollar or each bill would be, or each coin would be worth much less. But that is something you don't feel. The Fed and the government and the Treasury have flooded over $10 trillion worth of new money just in the last 6 months. You don't feel it, you don't see it, right? Yes, some of us got checks in the mail for $1,200, but what you don't see is how much more money has been added and how that diluted the dollars you already have. So you cannot, the hardest part for most people is really to understand that this is different times and that I have to take a different action than I've taken until now. Until now, it was fine to buy a little bit of stock or to put some money in bonds or to do all kind of other stuff, which is most of us do anyway, or buy more real estate. But now with this debasement, what you need is, again, what I call non-correlated assets. These are assets that are not denominated or not created in dollars, right? And they have their own behavior. They're not tied to what the US government does. They're not controlled by the Federal Reserve. So these are things that you need to really pay attention to, even if you don't know anything about finance, you don't know anything about the you know, how the world runs, or what makes the world go round, right? Which is the US dollar. You need to pay attention now. This is something you need to do for yourself. So if you don't have 10-20% allocation to these non-correlated assets, you are risking your entire nest egg. So that's something you need to really learn about. Again, don't just listen to me. Go on Wikipedia, go on Google, and just look for more information about it, and decide how much of your assets you want to allocate into these things. So let's talk about a few more things. So again, very bold statement I'm about to make. Mark my words. The largest US banks, Citi, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, are gonna need assistance from the government. They might even have to be bailed out by the government in the next 5 to 10 years. And the reason for that is that this depression that we're going through, it's like a slow moving wreck, right? It's like a car, it's two trains crashing into each other. It's in slow motion, right? One is being the US economy, and the other one being the debasement of the currency. And when these things happen, everything, the shock wave goes and affects everything. It affects especially the debt that is outstanding. So worldwide, there's about 100 trillion, with a T, 100 trillion, 12 zeros, worth of debt that needs to be refinanced. And when you see banks every quarter allocating 10, 20, 30 billion dollars worth of reserves for bad debt, they're basically putting the warning sign. When the Fed says to the bank, you can no longer buy back your own stock, you're not allowed to do that anymore, that is a warning sign. That is telling you that a big, big, big storm, much bigger than 2008, is going to hit us very, very soon. So all these things are, again, they're slow moving. Why? Because we flooded the market with so much money that the effect of what's about to happen is being kind of mellowed down. And our excuse is that it's coronavirus, but really this accumulated debt is what is going to hit us. And because of that, you need to have more and more non-correlated asset. You need to escape this, this accident that's about to hit us, right? This clash that's about to hit us. So let's see what else we have here. So again, coming back to what we're doing, again, 1% loan. We have thousands of people taking loans. Amazing. Again, thank you very much. The ones who are not taking, 1% loan. You pay 1% per year. Okay. If you have a credit card debt, or you have any debt outstanding, and you have some of these non-correlated assets, great. But you can also borrow against them and pay down your debt, right? Pay down that 24% credit card statement. Do me a favor, take your statement. If you don't get it by mail, look it online. Log into your Citibank, log into your Wells Fargo account, and look at interest to date. By law, they must show you how much interest you paid to date, okay? Or look at your last December statement and see how much interest you paid these banks last year. And imagine if all that interest could have been now income or something earning yield. Imagine if you took that interest and you invested it in Bitcoin or Cell Token or Ethereum or anything else, what it would be worth today. Instead, you took it and you gave it to your bank, right? You paid them, you made them rich, you made their shareholders rich instead of making yourself rich. So here's a simple transaction. Borrow some against your asset, pay down that debt to zero, take the dollars that you would have paid them and invest that in a non-correlated asset. Invest it in gold, invest it in Bitcoin, invest it in any of the things that are available in our wallet, because you'll end up much better than where you are today. So we have record AUM, right? Record coins that you guys have given us. We have record loans to our institutional investors. Again, we don't have enough coins right now. We don't have enough Bitcoin. We don't have enough coins to give out to people. Everything is lent out. When everything is lent out, we're earning record interest income, records, all-time records. Every week is all-time record. And that translates into us buying more and more cell token. Again, you can see if you go on Twitter, you can see we publish every week how much we buy. We have a record, I think, Kristen, right? 40% of our community is earning in cells. That's a record, a new record, all-time high. So all these things are the flywheel that turns, that creates more and more and more value inside the Celsius community. And if you look at the rates we're paying, I think we still hold the record compared to any other DeFi project. I don't think there is a DeFi project out there that pays more on Ethereum or more on DAI or more on anything else. So why? Because Celsius still pays 80% back to the community, or up to 80%, and all the other projects pay you less. They publish their number. You can see what you borrow at, what you sell at, what you own, and what you earn interest in. You can simply take a calculator to calculate. You'll see that they're paying you less than 80% between the difference between the borrow rate and the lend rate. Okay, what else do we have to cover? Here we go.
The desktop app.
The desktop app, yeah. So we already have, I think, half a dozen people who want to test it. If you want to join us and test it as well, please come in and send me an email, and I will introduce you to Ryan, and he can add you to the beta testing for the desktop. And let's talk about Yum a little bit, right? So I want to explain maybe in a simple way what happened to Yum. So Yum is a brilliant guy who came up with a new protocol that basically allows you to earn interest as long as many other people come in as well, right? It's a kind of like the early adopters are the ones who win. But he had a bug in the system. So when basically, if you haven't watched The Matrix, from the movie from 2000, you have to watch The Matrix, right? And in that movie, the machines win against the humans, right? And the humans have to go to sub-living, and they live in underground caves, and they hide from the machines. Here, the machine, the Yum machine, the smart contract that was created, won against all the participants, right? And it basically pushed everybody out of the system because the code wasn't written properly, right? So all I can tell you is, obviously the idea and effort is noble, and we should celebrate the experimentation. But seeing people throwing hundreds of millions of dollars into something that at the time was 24 hours old, would you give your child who's 24 hours old that much money? So this is what we did, right? We all, the crypto community, threw all this money on the project just because we made money on Compound, or we made money on Maker. We thought, oh, here's another one, must be just as good. No, it's not. So you got to be careful with your money, because one critical mistake like this, and you will be locked in it forever. All that value is locked in inside the Yum smart contract forever. No one will be able to get it out of there, because no one will be able to win consensus against that protocol. So just what Celsius does, Celsius selects the safe projects. Celsius monitors them. Celsius makes sure that you don't get in trouble. And that's why when you look at what we include, we only include things that we know for sure have stood the testing of time. And if there's a problem, like for example, Ethereum Classic had a problem, we freeze your coins. We make sure that your coins are not going to get siphoned away or moved to the wrong chain. And you didn't even know what happened there, but you don't have to worry about it, because we worry about it 24/7. So I think with the lending to the institutions and with the interest we earn just through deployment of staking, Celsius always wins more than what you can do on your own. Almost always, right? Unless you're a pro and you know how to do everything we do, then maybe you can win a little bit more, because you don't have to pay us the 20% that we take off the top, right? But for most people, this is definitely a much more, much safer option. So again, farming is like, it's like putting your hand in the fire, right? How long can you keep your hand in there? If you put your hand in the fire and take it out again very quickly, you're not going to get burned. And that's what happens there, right? If you get into one of these projects and you put it in there and you farm and you grab the coins and you sell them right away, you're going to be just fine. But if you keep it there for too long, you're going to get burned. I guarantee you're going to get burned, because most of these projects do not have real economic activity. They don't create anything, right? So like Celsius lends the coins to institutions. They pay us interest. We create value, right, from the transaction. When you're just farming in a circle, when you're redeploying the same coins again and again and again, you're not really creating a real economic activity. You are just hoping that enough other people come in and enough tokens or coins are going to be showered upon you, and the value will be maintained, so you could actually extract value from the protocol or from the farming itself. So you have to ask yourself also all the time, does this have real economic value? Do we create economic activity here? Or is this just something that is a game or a fake process that is good for a short period of time, but don't get caught with your hand in the fire. When the music stops, okay, all these things are going to go back to fair value. And fair value is not where it is today. Today, it's inflated value. All right. So again, the market for me today, when I see all these things, when I see all these projects that are flying like the gravity doesn't apply to them, that is a frothy market, right? So I'm recommending to all of you, this is a great time to take half of your money off the table. You have Compound, you have Chainlink. Chainlink is in the top 10, in the top 8 coins, right? You've done exceptionally well. Take half of it off your table, okay? Convert it into something much more stable, or something that is not appreciated 1,000%, right? So knowing to take your winnings, sometimes because you were super smart, and sometimes because you were super lucky. And many of you are super lucky, you just don't know it. You think you're smart, but you're really just super lucky. So knowing to take it off the table, it's against what you want to do. Believe me, your heart, your body is telling you, no, it's tripling again. Okay, just stick with it. It's just don't press the sell button. You're going to be just fine. But that's not what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is take a quarter or a half and put it into gold, or put it into Bitcoin, put it into much more stable things, so you can harvest, yes, farm your gains on what you've done exceptionally well on. Instead of farming on Compound, go farm your winners, because we are at a very, very frothy times. And when you're going to need that money, it's just not going to be there. When you're going to need that money, everybody else is going to need their money, and they're all going to be selling, and the price is going to be a fraction of what it is today. Don't tell me that I didn't tell you to do that.
But it's not investment advice.
What?
But it's not investment advice.
It is not investment advice. This is just what I am doing myself. Okay, so let's talk about decentralization. So what decentralization means to us is not what it means for other people. Again, for a lot of people, decentralization means DeFi and farming and whatever. And for Celsius, decentralization means the bridge. Decentralization is the bridge on which 7.5 billion people can join financial freedom and financial independence. And that's why you're never going to see Celsius play games or launch things that are, people ask me all the time. They're like, okay, where is the Celsius version of DeFi? Why aren't you guys creating a new token and like spray it on everybody and just join the party? It's so exciting. Come on, let's do it. We can't do that because it does not create anything for you. Gamifying what we're trying to do, which is help people get to their financial independence by giving them false hope over something that is temporary and is only viable as long as the music is playing, is not something that we're going to do or participate in. So we're going to stick to paying you the most interest. How about that? And when all these other projects run out of steam and the music there has stopped and they all crashed and so on, we would still be here paying you more interest than anybody else. All right, so let's see. I think we're good. Kristen, we can start. I know there's a lot of questions. Thank you guys for submitting. If you forgot to submit your questions, you can still add them to the chat, and Kristen will pick the best ones, and we'll try to answer as many of them as we can. We have no guests today, so it's all about you today.
So far, I'm seeing a lot of who's the girl. So hi, everyone. I'm Kristen.
Kristen has been with us since the beginning, and she came into when we were still doing the ICO. It's a great point. I didn't even introduce you. So that's embarrassing. So Kristen joined as an event coordinator, right?
Yeah.
And she rose all the way to run our marketing. You know, like she was running. We just hired a new person to join the team, a senior person to join the team. But until then, she carried the baton with a team of 7 or 8 people all by herself. So great example of somebody who rose to the occasion, who did everything. She did everything, you know, like from events to online marketing, to recruiting, to, right? I mean, supporting the community. So definitely a Celsian in and out, and we're very happy that she's been with us since the beginning. So
thank you. No one asked that question. I just wanted to hear you talk about me for a while.
yes.
So the other thing that's coming up a lot is if you can comment on Coinbase.
Yeah, so look, Coinbase announced they're going to issue loans against crypto. And I think they're about 3 years too late, but fine, great. Come join the party, Coinbase. We got you to pay interest, even though it's miserable interest on stable coins, but at least they're paying something. So we squeezed that out of them. Now we squeezed them to actually start issuing loans. I think they're offering 30% LTV, right? So they're offering at a 8% interest rate, right?
Yeah.
I think 1% is better than 8%, right?
Sounds better.
So if you want to pay high rates, go to Coinbase. If you want to get the same thing with low rates, stick with Celsius. But we love you, Coinbase. Keep sending us your customers.
All right. This is a question submitted earlier. Pa asked, SNX rewards are locked for a year. How can Celsius pay it out weekly? So our new stable coin.
Yeah, it's a great question. So my team came to me and said, look, some of these rewards have a quarterly distribution. Some of them have a yearly distribution. How you gonna, the Celsius model is that everybody can withdraw their coins at any time. So what if somebody came in gamified and he was with you for 6 months and then he was due his coins and you paid him for 6 months, but you have to keep the coins for a year, right? So we trust our community. So we are trusting that most of you are honest players, and the ones who are not, the ones who are going to try to gamify this, we're going to have to kick them out. That's what we do. We kick out the bad apples. But at any time, we always keep about 20% of the coins or tokens in our in and out wallets, meaning because people just want to withdraw. If you have Ethereum, how can we allow you to withdraw at any time? It's because we never deploy all the Ethereum. We never deploy all the Dash. We never deploy all the Chainlink, for example, right? So this is a great example where, again, we're probably going to keep 20% in the wallets. When you want to withdraw, you're actually going to be withdrawing out of the in and out wallet. So the coins that are locked are not affected. And that's why we can keep those in. Now, if everybody starts withdrawing them, then yes, we're going to have to change the rule. And it's going to ruin the party for everyone, because we're going to have to restrict access. So right now we are trusting the community. We're going to see how it goes. And if we are wrong, then everybody is going to suffer. But today it's a beautiful arrangement, because if you stake yourself, you can't do it. But if you stake with Celsius, you get all the benefit, but none of the downside. And you can withdraw effectively with no penalty. So that's how we do it.
Maybe you can expand too. We're getting a lot of questions. Obviously, these staking coins have the highest rates we've ever had. So if you can go into how that can be.
Yeah, so look, from the beginning, I think I mentioned this several times, that we have 3 different types of assets. We have assets that don't earn anything, and we have to create the yield for them. Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Then we have assets that are earning yield themselves, meaning they are, you can just stake them and they earn yield, like Dash and EOS and all the coins and tokens we just added. And for those, we don't need to do much. We just need to optimize the rate. So if you look at those coins that we added, Matic and Chainlink and so on, look it up, just do a search. You will see what they yield by themselves, and you will see that Celsius pays you almost everything out of that, right? But if you want to go and create a node yourself and stake it yourself, you can earn even more, right? I mean, we do charge fees just on the amount earned, not fees for depositing it or accounts or anything like that. And the rate on these tokens or coins is determined by the staking mechanism and by the blockchain itself. It's not determined by us. So on Bitcoin, the rate is determined by us because we lend it out and it's 80% of what we earn. But on Dash, for example, the rate is determined by the Dash blockchain, not by Celsius. EOS the same way, right? So all these new coins, they are determined by their blockchains. Next question.
Stacy wants to know, under loan payments, there's an option to prepay your loan interest. Why is this offered? Can you give a practical use case?
So I think you get a discount if you prepay. I hate paying interest. I hate maintenance and getting emails and checking the balance and so on. So if I can do the transaction in once, especially when the rate is so low, like I just took a loan from Celsius, right? I just got approved. I took a loan and it's 1% interest. I took 25% interest loan against Cell token. And it's easier to just prepay it, right? I mean, why would I want to bother with it every month, right? So if I'm taking a 2-year loan, do you want to do 1 transaction or 24 transactions? The amount is small anyway. So it makes no sense. For me, it makes no sense to do 24 transactions, waste my time to press a button that I can press only once. So it's more of a convenience issue. There's no like got you or hi, you prepaid the interest and now if you cancel the loan, we're going to keep all your money or something. There's no, again, we always put our customers first. There's no gotcha in there. Next.
Greg wants to know, he just loves your company and your app. Is it possible to be a brand ambassador in Canada?
Yes, definitely. We love Canada. Depending where you are in Canada, we only love some parts. No, I'm just kidding. Love Canada. Beautiful. One of the prettiest places on the planet. Go to our website, look for the ambassador link, and just click on it, fill up the form, and we will make you an ambassador. And Zachary will get in touch with you and send you swag and support you and help you with content. And I think we have something like, over 600 ambassadors, right? How many we have?
Yeah.
Well, we need more. And please do not create content in English. We need it in your native language, okay? We need it in Vietnamese. We need it in Filipino. We need it in, any other language beside English. In English, we already have over 1,000 videos on about Celsius, but I need it in your native language.
Yes. All right, so LB has a security question, probably why he didn't use his full name. Lately, I have been seeing videos of SIM swap attacks. Crypto investors can be at risk of significant loss. What recommendations would you give Celsians to secure their assets from SIM hackers?
So first, never have your real phone number anywhere. You don't have it on your email. Google has a great service where they give you a phone number that links to your cell phone. So you can publish that number and no one would know what your real cell phone number is, because a hacker still needs to have your real identity and your real number and figure out who is your carrier to be able to do SIM swapping. It's not as easy as you think. And some companies are much better at protecting you than others. I use Google Fi, for example, because they're much better than AT&T or Verizon as far as protecting you from SIM swaps. And so definitely also think about who is your vendor underlying carrier to protect yourself from that. And on top of it, look, you got to use 2FA, you got to use huddle mode, for example, in the Celsius wallet that kind of overrides everything. It doesn't matter if somebody stole all your identity, they cannot break into your account because it's frozen, right? Everything there is frozen. And that's a feature, I think only Celsius has that feature. I don't know why. It's not that difficult to make. So Coinbase, why don't you have this feature? You know?
Give them 2 months.
Yes. All right, next.
Ryan wants to know, are you considering delisting Ethereum Classic as they continue to get the 51% tax?
Look, I like Ethereum Classic. I think it's it has a good community. It has a good developer group. Yes, it's they lost a bunch of mining partners, right? That's why they're getting all these attacks. But I'm sure they're going to be building up their node network, and as that node network is being rebuilt, it's going to be harder and harder for these outside players to try to take over Ethereum Classic. So we are still in the experimentation phase where every blockchain, every project is still trying to figure out what is the right structure. And really, we have very, very few projects that have a completely set number of coins, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum Classic are few, very, very few, right? Ethereum has unlimited. They can create unlimited amount for infinity, right? But Ethereum Classic, you know exactly how many coins they're gonna have ever. So these are experiments that are running in parallel, where we have to really see how important it is, the scarcity effect, especially in this environment where everything is unlimited, right? The US dollar, you name it, right? They're printing it to infinity, and we think it doesn't matter. A few years from now, we will see that it does matter. And then these other projects are going to become much more powerful, much more scarce, because people will understand that they are very, very different than Ethereum itself or many other projects that have infinite number of coins that they can generate. Next question.
Cosmin is asking, can I transfer my Chainlink tokens from Coinbase Pro directly to Celsius, or do I have to transfer them to MetaMask first?
I think you can do it directly. Again, do a test transaction. There's no restrictions. The addressing is straightforward. And unlike some other guys, Coinbase lets you withdraw the same day. We've seen some of our competitors jump through hoops to prevent their customers from switching to Celsius. Like they delay it, they make you call them, they make you send them extra documentation, everything, hoping that you will change your mind and not join the Celsius army. So thank you for joining. Next question.
Paul wants to know why Link is at 2% and Matic is at 22%.
So Link hasn't yet launched their staking. I think it's coming, but it's not there yet. So our income is only from institutional borrowing. Matic is launched, it's staking, it's earning very high yield by definition, right? So we're paying you what's already happening. So again, we don't determine for the staking coins, we do not determine the rate. It's not like we huddled and decided, oh, let's pump the rate on Matic and let's lower the rate on Chainlink. So if there's a lot of institutional demand, you may see the rate on Chainlink double or triple, right? So right now, it's a new coin. We're waiting to see how it works out. We're waiting to see what the yield will be when they start staking, and the rate will change according to that.
All right. Jim wants to know if we're planning to allow multiple whitelisted withdrawal addresses.
So again, this is a security issue, right? So yes, as a user, I would like to be able to have 10 addresses and put a nickname for each one of them, and with one click, be able to send what I need, where I need to send it to. But from a security standpoint, having multiple doors, it does create much more, just gives the hacker many, many more opportunities. So it's a balance of the two. And today, the most important thing that Celsius does is not earn you interest. The most important thing Celsius does is that we invest everything we can in in technology and in security and in oversight to make sure that you get your coins back, right? That's priority number one. Make sure that all of the customers get their coins back. Then, great, try to earn as much interest as possible. But if you have a protocol or an exchange or even you know, like what happened to some of our competitors where they got hacked and people stole their all their data and they got SIM swapped and whatever, then you're risking their underlying life savings, right? We know that you're giving us your life savings. So for us, that is the most important thing. And that's why Celsius never had a hack, right? No one managed to get into the Celsius network and steal anything or grab anything, and we encrypt everything and so on, which is very expensive. It's not cheap, believe me. Like, again, we have two MPC companies that we're paying a lot of money for, right? And the reason no one else is using them is not because they don't have the tech. It's because they don't want to pay the money. They don't want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars paying these, you know, these companies to put the security to protect your assets, right? But we have over $1 billion. So for us, protecting your assets is the most important thing that we have to think about every day. Next question.
All right. Simon asks, Tether has been quite a controversial company, but Alex seems to be reassured that they are trustworthy. Can you let us know why you are so reassured?
Well, so look, I met the Tether team. I've worked with them for years. You know, like, do I go and check their bank account every week and make sure that every Tether they issue is backed by dollars and by treasury bonds and by real assets? I don't, but I know that they're trustworthy, meaning that when they tell me something, you can rely on them. Did they have issues in the past? Yes. And all of that is publicized and documented and so on. And all of you should dig in to see what actually happened there, right? So for example, when assets were stolen from Bitfinex, go and see where these assets actually were stolen, who was responsible for it, what happened, right? And these are the things that I think most people miss, because they hear that, okay, there is a lawsuit or there is a litigation or you know, it's a lot in the news, but they don't dig into the details, right? So Celsius does not, it's not like we are at the mercy of Tether, right? Tether is a great partner. They're an important investor in Celsius, right? They hold equity in Celsius, just like many of you who participated in Back to the Future or personally. And they want the best for Celsius, right? They're cheering for us to do even better, but I think as a percentage, they're very small. Like, I think, I don't know how much we have in Tether right now, but I would be shocked if we had more than 30 or 40 million dollars in Tether out of, again, over $1 billion, almost 1.1 billion in coin deposits, right? So as a percentage of our business, it's not a big percentage, but it's a very important partner for us for a variety of reasons. One of the main reasons is that they're a top 4, top 5 coin, which is a very important piece of the puzzle, right? You want somebody that size to be your partner in the blockchain space. Next question.
Jerome is wondering if we report the earnings and amount of crypto held in Celsius to the IRS.
So we, by law, have to file a 1099 for all of you. That's why when you registered, we did full KYC. We are doing continuous AML, anti-money laundering, and we've been compliant to all the laws since day one. You can go on our website. We actually added a page called what is it called? The regulatory or something, regulation or something like that. Sorry?
I said, sounds boring. I don't know.
But anyway, it has links to our SEC filing and FinCEN filing and so on and so on. So yes, we do have to report to the IRS by law. It's not something we chose to do. It's not like we are best friends with the IRS and we whisper in their ear every day, hey, this guy, you know, he's pretty rich. He's got a lot of coins. Go after him, right? So we have to report a 1099. We report about me, like the Celsius reports my earnings in Celsius to the IRS, right? And I definitely recommend to all of you that you file your taxes and you report your income as precisely and as accurately as you can. There's no need. We are paying you enough interest for you to pay your taxes. Okay, there's no problem there. Don't try to cheat the government or hide some stuff. It's just not worth it, right? So make sure that you use the data we give you. You can download all the data from Celsius into your Excel spreadsheet or into your financial planning software, and basically, and you know what we're reporting to the IRS. You get that form, you get the 1099, you know what we send it to them. Make sure that it corresponds and complies with your filing as well, because now there are legal ways to defer your taxes, like taking a loan, right? Defer your taxes on the money you made on Bitcoin or the money you made on Ethereum. That is perfectly fine, right? Again, not financial advice. I'm not your accountant or your tax advisor. But my point is that there are things you have to do exactly the way they need to be done. And there are things where there is options, and you should be taking the option that is the best for you. Again, depends how much income you have. You might want to recognize income, because if you don't have any income, I think the first $20,000 or $30,000 is free. So definitely recognize that, meaning sell that Bitcoin, for example, to have the minimum taxation. But for everything else, try to defer that as long as you can.
And
that's what I do. That's not no advice. Just that's what I'm trying to do.
Next. We only report earnings, so we're not reporting your total balance.
We only reporting the interest we paid you. That's it. We don't report the balance. We don't report how many withdrawals or deposits you did. What we are required by law. What we're required by law is to report the net interest income you received from us for the entire year.
Okay, so Hasso has a question. In massively expanding the Celsius user base to the unbanked, are there challenges with jurisdictions where the population does not necessarily have adequate KYC documents? How will Celsius work through this?
So yeah, there are definitely many countries around the world where it is hard for the citizens to get an ID. I mean, we take it for granted that everybody has a driving license and a passport. But go to a refugee camp in Syria or in Lebanon or in other countries, and you'll find millions of people who don't have an identification. And that is a real problem, right? I mean, we talk about hundreds of millions of people around the world. Yes, there is great hope. India in 1 year gave a digital identification to 1.1 billion people. I think 1.1 or 1.2 billion people, right? So it's definitely possible. It's not a technological limitation. It's not like, oh, it's so many people there's no computers that can count that far. The issue is about organization, right? So in Syria, for example, no one cares about these refugees. No one, the UN is probably, and a few other organizations, the only people that care about them. So the government that oversees that territory could care less if those people have identification or don't. So we can't solve that problem. We have to wait until, because we require KYC ML, right? We cannot afford for an unidentified, undocumented person to be part of our network. And if they happen to be part of a terrorist group or whatever, the entire company can be shut down, right? So for us, the compliance with local laws, local jurisdictions, as a way to protect the community, to protect all of you, to enable you to continue to earn this income is a much higher priority than solving the problem of the undocumented people worldwide. So we are waiting for them to get documented, and anyone who is documented is welcome at Celsius. That's where we are today.
Alexi is wondering what type of cybersecurity controls are in place to protect private keys from theft. Is there continuous security monitoring of both Celsius and your third-party partners?
Right, so great question. In most companies, the keys are kept in a safe place. meaning if you can break into the safe place, you can grab the keys. And when you see Binance, other people announce, oh, somebody stole 50 million from us, normally that means somebody managed to get into their network, then get into the extra safe place where the keys are kept, grab the keys, and move the coins, right? And so there are many, many steps that should not be possible to even, how did they get into your network? How did they get into the extra safe place? You know, how did they withdraw it to a non-whitelisted address? In Celsius, that doesn't exist. You cannot withdraw to any address that is not whitelisted. So Celsius doesn't have a place where you can go where all the keys are kept, or where one guy or two guys are sitting and guarding the safe place. It's just not built that way. If you want to know how it works, go on Google, type multi-party computation, MPC, multi-party computation, and look at that technology. It's amazing technology, very, very exciting technology. Not new. It's actually been around for a long time. And ask yourself, how come these other guys are not using this technology if it's available, right? So the main reason others are not using it is because unless you build it into your foundation, right? So before you build everything, the building, you have to build a basement that is made out of MPC. And if you didn't build that, you can't just come after you have 100 floors and add a new basement and say, oh, MPC, wonderful. So the reason Celsius is better than almost anyone out there is because we did something that most people didn't want to do. Right? And it takes a lot of effort. And then it takes a lot of effort to stay compliant. That's why, for example, when we added these 4 new coins, the staking coins, we added them only after we verified that all of the stuff that they do can run on MPC. Right? And that's why we can't add every coin we want. There's a lot of coins or token we want to add, but if we cannot build that floor on top of this basement, we cannot add them to the Celsius family. Next question.
Just a call out to Nuke, who made a great video on MPC, and you can find it in our channel.
Exactly. Go learn about MPC on the YouTube channel, on the Celsius YouTube channel.
The only way I've ever understood it, so highly recommend. Irene is asking you, Alex, she's noticed that you've been selling some cell tokens and is wondering why. So
just like you, I get a 1099 from the company. Actually, the last one I got was several $1 million worth of a 1099, meaning I have to pay taxes to the US government, right? And the US government doesn't care if it's Corona or whatever. They're like, hey, April 15th, you got to pay your taxes, right? So I do, yes, I am a wealthy person, but I'm not that wealthy where I can just spring millions of dollars out of thin air to pay the US government. So sometimes I sell because I need to pay taxes. Sometimes I sell because I want to buy more ETH, like I did recently. And sometimes I buy. You will see many times that my balance of sell increases, doesn't go down. So, just like me, all of you have to make these decisions. And when I tell you that you have to sell some, you have to do that for Cell Token too. If you were lucky enough to get into Cell Token at 3 cents, and it's now at 42 or 45 or whatever it is, and it's 90% of your net worth. Some of you guys are Celsian through and through, and it's like all the money that you have. That is not a good thing. You should diversify, right? You're up 15x. You made 15 times your money. Most people don't get that to happen to them once in their lives, right? You're there. Great. Take some money off the table. Put it in a more safe asset. More safe than sell, yes. Like Bitcoin or gold, right? Not everything, but you got to take a little bit, put it aside for a rainy day, right? So these are things that, when you go to a financial advisor, that's the first thing they tell you, diversification. The problem is they diversify you from Apple to Amazon or from stocks to bonds. That's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about non-correlated assets. I'm talking about diversifying inside that Celsius wallet that has many, many different things. So watch my wallet balance. That's why we posted it. Go to the Celsius website, top 100, click on it. You'll see not just my balance, all of the top people Are they buying or are they selling? And if they hide or they don't want to tell you that, you know what? Show me another top project that has all of that information displayed on their website. Okay, and then we can talk. Next question.
Chimmy is wondering if we foresee Celsius being able to support the gas fees as they're really high right now. Do you think we're going to cut back on the fee-free concept?
So first, most people don't even recognize the fact that we're paying your bills. It's like, imagine going to the bar and every time you order a drink, some guy, stranger came in and paid your tab. And you'd be like, who are you? Why are you paying my tab? That's what Celsius does every time you withdraw your coins. Every time you move your token somewhere, right? Celsius pays your tab on the fees. Now, we don't want to pay crazy fees. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer because we delay the transmission in hopes that the gas fee will go down, because sometimes it just spikes to crazy levels. But I do recommend, we have a lot of people complaining, say, hey, Celsius, you're not as fast as you used to be. You guys are slowing down, or you holding back my coins. We're not holding back your coins. We're giving you something for free, and we're trying not to be ripped off by the Ethereum or other blockchain. So what I do recommend to my team, hopefully they're watching, is that we say, look, up to a certain level, Celsius pays. And sometimes you have to wait until it hits that level, because if it spiked, we'll wait for it to come back down. But if you want to move them faster, you pay the rest of it, right? So we'll pay a portion of it, you pay the rest of it. If you really need, because sometimes you do need coins right away, moved over to somewhere else, and you're willing to pay that extra gas, we should enable you to do that. So let's see if we can develop that. If you guys have a better solution, again, get on our Telegram channel, tell us what you're thinking, send me an email, alex@mashinsky.com. Love to continue this conversation. We want to do what's best for you. This is not about what's best for us, right? This is the Celsius community, and it's all about what the community wants. Next question.
Adrian is wondering when we plan to launch a desktop version of Celsius.
Adrian, it's in beta, and you can join the beta. Email me, and we will put you on the list, and you can be one of the first people to test it and brag about it. You'll be like, oh, I used this before everyone. You know, I was the first guy. I found 5 bugs, and that's why you guys have this great product. So we need help. We want, on our mobile apps, on the beta on our mobile apps, we have several hundred people testing it before we release it, right? So you can join the mobile app testing group. You can join the desktop app testing group. We have an institutional version that's coming up. You can join that as well. Let me know what you want to do, and I'll direct you to the right person.
Mr. K is wondering if assets are rehypothecated in the Celsius ecosystem.
Yes, our entire income is based on rehypothecation. We've invented this category. Before Celsius, there was no place where you could come and safely contribute your coins so they will be rehypothecated and you could earn that income. Let me tell you a secret. When you give your Apple stock to Robinhood, when you buy it for free, what do you think Robinhood does with your stock? What do you think Fidelity does with your stock? What do you think Charles Schwab does with your stock? They rehypothecate. That's how they make most of their money. Obviously, they're not making money from giving you free trading. So rehypothecation is the safest and one of the best, most profitable businesses on Wall Street. What Celsius did is took that idea, brought it into crypto, but instead of keeping I could have kept all the money to myself. I could have done this, not tell anybody what we're doing, keep it a tight secret, and earn all that money and be a multi-billionaire, right? But instead, I said, well, why don't we use this great mechanism to enable 7 billion people to have financial independence, right? So do well only after you do good, right? That's what we're doing here. So if you don't know what rehypothecation is or how to spell it, go on Google, type it in, and you will see all the secrets revealed. There's nothing, it's just a complicated word, but it's a really, really simple process. Next.
Okay, Alex is wondering, how long do you think you can sustain the 4.55% rate on ETH?
I think the rates are going up, not down. we've been raising them for several cycles now, right? So when there's a lot of volatility, when there is a lot of activity, we earn more. When we earn more, you earn more, right? So what's bad for Celsius is when things drop and then they stay low. There's no volatility, it just stays low, like during the nuclear winter. Of basically beginning of 18, most of 18 was a very difficult time. Celsius did great, but it was a difficult time, right? And we had to lower the rates. Now, with all the volatility, it goes up 10%, down 10%. When that happens, institutions need more coins because they do market making, they do arbitrage, right? And for all of that, they need to borrow assets. So we can charge them more. Again, we don't have enough coins. Send us more coins. We will earn even more. We will raise the rates even more. We will buy back more CEL token. You know what happens when you buy back CEL token, right? If we're buying more of it, obviously prices are going to go up. Next.
Okay, someone's wondering, they've seen that the addresses in our wallet changed. What happens if they send crypto to one of their old addresses?
So some of the old addresses used to be with BitGo. BitGo does not use MPC. We tried to talk to them about it. They are happy where they are. We're not. And we decided to switch all the addresses to only MPC. All the addresses are addresses that are supported under our MPC platform. So if you're sending coins to an old address, you're sending it to BitGo. You're not sending it to Celsius. So make sure that you verify your address. Make sure, if you don't remember, just generate a new address. Just go to your wallet, say deposit ETH. It will give you an address. Make sure you use that address. When you're sending it from a different location, don't rely, oh, I think I used the new address from Celsius. Oh, let me test it. You're sending them to BitGo, then you're not sending them to Celsius.
Okay. Jonathan is wondering, he's looked into the corporate onboarding and he's wondering if there's a way for individuals to have corporate accounts.
So anyone can create a New Jersey LLC on LegalZoom. I think it's $100 or $99. And you have a great tax efficient way to manage your finances. I have several LLCs, several C Corps, and so on, because those are much more efficient mechanisms to earn interest or deduct some of your expenses or do all kind of other financial activity. Again, you're getting the benefits that large corporations have that you don't have as an individual. So there's no need to pretend to be a corporate and come in as an individual. Even if you have a few $1,000s with Celsius, it justifies your ability to go and open a New Jersey LLC or a Delaware LLC. And then almost all the services in Celsius are accessible to you. If you're in Texas and something is not accessible, it is accessible to a New Jersey LLC, right? If you're a resident of this or that state that is blocked in the wallet, but you have a New Jersey LLC, you can take a loan. You can do other things. So again, not tax advised. I'm not your lawyer, but through a simple process like LegalZoom, I think it's legalzoom.com, click, you're done. You have an entity through which you can get the benefit of a desktop app, of getting higher loans, of doing all the things that corporations can do that individuals can't. Right? Again, we don't write the laws. We cannot change the laws. We're too small for that. So all we have to do is maintain the laws that are available. But just like companies have offshore entities that they use for a variety of things, or Delaware entities or whatever, just do your research online. All of that information is public information, and you can use these tools to improve your financial standing and get faster to that financial independence that we're all hoping you're going to achieve.
All right, I have some questions from the chat. Alex, can you tell us if Tether Gold is real gold or is it an ETF?
Tether Gold is not an ETF. unlike GLD, which is a gold ETF, Tether gold is physical gold that sits in Switzerland, right? And I will, when we can travel, I will make a trip to Switzerland. I will withdraw my Tether gold. I will redeem my tokens for a physical bar, and I will show it to all of you. I want to be one of the first to do it, to make sure that it actually works. So when I'm telling you that it's real gold and it sits in the vault and I visited it and I redeemed my token, all of you can say, okay, if Alex can do it, I can do it too. So I can't travel right now because of all of the Corona stuff, but the minute all that happens, that's one of the things I'm promising to do.
Great. Can you take a loan with combining different coins as collateral?
Can you take a what?
Take a loan with different coins as collateral.
So we are working on a multi-collateral thing. Basically, your total balance will be available for a loan. Today, I think you need to take each one individually. So you have to say, here's my loan against Bitcoin, here's my loan against Ethereum, here's my loan against Cell. You can borrow against Cell token as well. And then, but you will be able to do it against your the entire balance of your portfolio. So that's coming. It's probably a few weeks away.
Is Celsius planning to do fixed terms with higher interest rates for locking for 3 months, for example? So
I know some other platforms have this. The reason we didn't do that, and we don't think we will do that, is because it stands against our principle. Our principles are that the guy with the $10 million gets exactly the same interest in percentages as the person with the $10, right? And the minute you start playing these games where you give preference to the corporate account, you give preference to the guy who locked up for 3 months because he's so rich, or a year, he's so rich he doesn't need the money, right? Then you are effectively discouraging or discounting the poorer people. And when you're paying more to the rich people and you're paying less to the poorer people, what does it look like, right? We don't want to end up like JP Morgan, right? We want to stick to our principles and look at anyone in their face and say, we are always acting in your best interest, even if you only have $10 with Celsius.
All right, Marcus in the chat wants to know if you can explain how rewards are compounded.
Sure. So think about it this way. You give us coins, we lend them out. We get paid interest, right? We pay you interest every week. So your balance goes from 10 to 11 to 12 to 13. But when it goes from 10 to 11, the calculation is based on 10. You had 10 coins, now you got one more, it's 11. The next week, if you have 11, it's not based on 10, it's based on 11. So now it compounds, meaning we are using not just the original amount, but also the interest you already earned to calculate next week's interest. That's what's called compounding weekly interest. And as it compounds over many years, and we have those calculators, I think, on our website. So over many years, the amount that is compounding will be more than the amount you actually accumulated in interest. So compounding, I think Einstein said it, right? It's the 6th or the 8th most wonder of the world. It is a very, very powerful tool, but it needs time. You cannot, when you look at compounding over 6 months, it's nothing. You're saying to yourself, look how little I earn. When you look at compounding over 20 years, it's most of your earnings. So especially where the interest rate is high, right? Because the amount that is being added every week is dramatic. So like compounding interest on Matic is a 22% is phenomenal, right? And so these are all things that are very important. Again, we do all of that for you. You can verify the math, but we're doing all that stuff for you. And it's just the right thing to do.
All right, speaking of Matic, Rob wants to know the rate for Matic and SNX is very high. Does that indicate that institutions want to borrow and short these coins?
No, so the yield on these staking coins has to do with how much the network pays out. For most of these, the yield has to do with when there's not a lot of nodes, the yield is high. And as you add more and more and more nodes to the network, the average yield comes down. So because these are new protocols, they're young protocols, the rates on them are still high, but they're going to go down over time. But if you're earning 22%, it's in the bank. You got it. It's yours, right? So you're earning those Matic coins or other coins as the network grows. So this is basically, that's how these protocols benefit or reward the early adopters. The earlier you come in, the more you earn. But I don't expect, look, these are unsustainable rates, right? No network can run at 20, 30, 40% rewards forever, right? Because it will be compensated with the price of the coin, right? So you also always have to look at economic activity. Ethereum, for example, have tremendous economic activity. How do you know it? Look at the price of gas. The price of gas is so high, it's because everybody is trying to transact on the network and they're willing to pay higher and higher prices to get their tokens or coins across the network, right? So you know that Ethereum has real economic activity. But some of these other chains don't have any activity. They're just paying stuff just because they're running the network, but where is the income coming from? So sooner or later, their price is going to go down to adjust for the fact that they don't have income from things like gas or transactions or anything else. So you got to always keep in mind when you make these investments or selection, what is a real project and what is just a promise, a hope that one day will be big or better or bigger than Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever. So we don't pick winners and losers. Just because something is in our wallet does not mean it's a great project. We added Matic because our community asked for it and because they were looking for, it has a high yield and people wanted to earn that yield by just parking these coins with Celsius. Our job is to add as many of these assets as possible. Don't look at it as a recommendation.
All right, so more from the chat, wondering if you hire project managers, specifically this person is in Sweden.
Yeah, so we have, I think we have 3 open positions right now for project managers, both technical and non-technical. I am looking actually for a project manager to work with me on kind of new product development and things like that. So if you are a candidate, send me your bio and would love to see if you fit the team. Tell me why you must be part of the Celsius team. And like we always say, you want to work for Celsius, you better bring something we don't know. You have to show us something you know better than us. And that's how you increase the IQ in the company and you make us better, right? Make the whole company better for our community. So don't just send me a resume and hope that I'm going to read through it and say, wow, this person is amazing. You know, tell me why I need to pay attention to it. So, but we're always looking for talent. We're crossing 100 people now. I think any day now we will be over 100. And we're looking for a number, Kristen. You see, we found it, over 100. Here we are.
Crazy. All right, so when do you foresee Celsius Network accepting non-crypto blockchain assets in the wallet or as collateral?
We already did. I know a few people inside the company are like, shh, that's our secret project. Don't tell everybody. We already accept other digital assets. We just haven't announced them yet, but we already even made loans against other digital assets. So Celsius is trying to, again, what we love is the blockchain. What we love is decentralization. Anything that runs on that infrastructure, where we can create value, create benefit, provide loans or income is game, right? It's not, we never said it's about Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? It's not like again, if you want to satisfy the interest income need of 7.5 billion people, it's going to have to be more than just a few coins. So we have a plan, we have a roadmap. And if you guys have ideas, if you want us to look at the new assets, definitely write to me. Tell me how, you know, how do we do it? How do we make it safe? How do we create the income? How do we pay at least 80% back to the community? And I will definitely take a close look at it.
All right. James wants to know, when are we getting facial recognition in the app?
I think it's right around the corner. We are testing it, and it's very, very soon. So I know, look, it's extremely annoying for me as well to get the 2FA and to log in every time and so on. It's painful, but like I told my wife is like, it takes you forever. You know, like I was trying to do a transaction. It was like 10 minutes later, I'm still working on logging into my account. But it's people's entire life savings, right? So I rather, if you ask me, okay, shouldn't you make it as easy as Insta? No, it should not be easy, right? If you lose a bunch of pictures on Insta, no one even notices. But if you lose all your life savings, you know, I'm not going to be able to sleep at night. So for us, security is the highest priority, and if you've seen, we've tightened security even further, right? I mean, we've made it even more difficult because, you know, it's just not worth it. You know, like it's a very important piece of it. And I think the people that survive in this industry are the people who did not get hacked. It doesn't matter how big you are. You could be the biggest guy, and overnight, everybody will just lose their trust in you because you got hacked and the assets were stolen out of your you know, wallets. So what is that worth? So for us, the name of the game is, it doesn't matter how big we are or how fast we're running. The name of the game is to be the last man standing, right? Is to never get hacked.
All right. Someone in the chat's wondering if our compounding period will ever change from weekly to daily.
We're paying interest weekly. That's why it's weekly. There's nothing to do with, it's not like the benefit between daily and weekly is not that great. It's not like you're losing that much. Again, what I would focus on, I know some of our competitors have issued daily, soon they're going to go to hourly. You know, the point is, are they earning that interest? Okay. So again, we work with 260 institutions. I've never heard a single institution tell me that, oh, Celsius, look, this ETH loan that we're about to take from you, the other guy is quoting me a lower price and we might take it from them. Never, right? So I'm talking about, you know, I'm not talking about the biggest guys. I'm talking about like all the other guys are giving you weekly, daily interest compound, okay? They don't. If they're not lending, if they're not rehypothecating your coins, where are they earning the interest? Just because they pretend to pay you something, right? You have to ask yourself, okay, where is it coming from? What happens if they have to pay everybody everything at once? If everybody came and withdrew all the coins at once, will they have that money, right? So again, let me say it again. Celsius right now can give all of our depositors all their coins at once, and we will have money left over, right? Because we have assets beyond all the coins that were contributed to date. So the issue you have to worry about is not is it daily or weekly, or is the rate 7% or 8.5%. What you have to dig into is how transparent is the company? Can I see their loans? Can I see their interest income? Can I see how much they earned every week? Can I trace that? Can I see the transactions on chain? With Celsius, you can see all of that. Soon, when you get your weekly payment, you will have a link that takes you and shows you the detail, and you can basically see if it's right or wrong. Are you getting if you're 1% of the BTC pool, are you getting 1%? And you can see what everybody else earned, right? So that level of transparency can only be possible if you're actually earning the interest. And you will not see anyone else do that because they don't earn the interest. They either subsidize it with their investors, or they're just paying you interest that doesn't exist, right? So all I'm saying is it's not about how much you earn. It's making sure that the party that pays you is sustainable and viable and a long-term project that is only doing this because they're acting in your best interest. And this transparency is coming very, very soon, right? All the stuff I'm talking about, which again, we have a great name for it. I'm not going to spoil Kristen's big announcement that she's planning and she's been working on. So but you know, we have you know, we killed it. Okay, let me just put it this way: we've done this. We've done something that has never been done in the crypto community, right? No blockchain project has ever done anything like this. So when you see it, you're gonna like it, and that's gonna set the bar even higher. Right?
Just managing expectations across the board, Alex.
Well, I'm excited. I want to talk about it, but I can't. So I'm dancing around the issue. But I think, again, these links are coming out very, very soon. We're testing them now. Again, we are raising the bar for anyone who's in this business, right? So if you are pretending to be in the interest income business, and now you're going to have to prove it. We can. Can you?
All right. A lot of people in the chat are asking about XRP and Spark. We see your questions. We're working with our CTO, and next week we'll be able to give you some answers on that, but we don't have anything for you right now.
Yeah, look, just to comment on that, there's a lot of forks every day, right? Every day somebody announces a fork of this or that blockchain, and we can't support all of them, right? So if you really feel strongly about something we don't support, then you do need to withdraw your coins and put them somewhere and get this airdrop and hope that they'll be worth something, right? In the meantime, you're not earning interest, right? So we may be wrong and not picking some very, very important fork that we thought was irrelevant, but it became the main fork. But I don't see that happening. I mean, I think you know, most of these efforts to date have failed. So, but if you feel strongly about forks, go ahead and put your coins on the outside wallet.
All right. So Alex, if there's suspected fraudulent activity on my account, do you have a number to call to lock outgoing transfers, something faster than email, especially on weekends?
You do not need to email everybody. First you do is you can lock up your account immediately. Again, turning on the HODL mode takes less than 10 seconds. That's the first thing you do. If you don't have a whitelisted address, definitely enable the whitelisted address, because it's better that it's pointing at something you know than not pointing at anything, right? So lock in your address, the withdrawal address, to things you know, to your Bitcoin address, your Ethereum address, your Cell token address, and so on. And then you always contact app@celsius.network. Again, we're covering several shifts. We're covering 7 days a week. I know we're a little bit behind. We have hundreds of tickets that are still waiting. We doubled the customer service team that's handling all these tickets. We had a surge of requests related to loans and the new coins we've added. So there was a huge increase in activity in Celsius with the last two versions that we released. So I can apologize that, yes, we have not been responding as quickly as we always do, but now the team has doubled. We're still training some of the new people, but you're going to see that drop back down to basically next day. We'll respond to you within 24 hours. So all that is being worked on.
All right. So someone's asking, what happens to stable coins if the value of the US dollar tanks?
So they're pegged to the dollar, right? So if the dollar moves up and down, they move with it. You don't really feel it. It's like when you sit on the boat and the boat goes up and down, you know, with the ocean, you move with it together. So you don't lose value. It's not like suddenly it's worth 90 cents. It's still worth 100 cents. The problem is that 100 cents used to be enough to buy, you know, lunch, and now you can only buy a newspaper with it. Right, so it's the value of the money that again, I went to cut my hair and they charged me twice the price, and I said, well, why did you guys raise the rates? And they said, oh, we have to use sanitizer and we have to wear a mask. You know, that's inflation. That's called inflation, when suddenly all the prices go up, but you're still earning the same amount of money. So that's what we're going through right now. Everything, all the prices are rising. First, they're rising in the financial world. That's why you're seeing Amazon and other price other great companies' stock prices go up. They're not going up because they're doing so much better. They're going up because the money, there's twice as much money out there, and that money needs to hide somewhere, and it's basically being put into assets that people feel like that they will maintain the value, right? So definitely not something to worry about. If you have stable coins, they're earning yield, but the inflation is eating away at those assets at the same time.
All right. I think this is our last question, Alex. Any comments on Vitalik being a bit skeptical about DeFi?
Well, I don't blame him. I'm also skeptical. I'm not skeptical of the technology. I'm not skeptical at the viability of DeFi. I think Vitalik is seeing his creation being hijacked by schemes that are short-term, that are a really manipulation of the community. They're gamified. It's like betting. It's like sports betting. You know, it's almost like the same thing, right? So it's not creating real economic activity, and because of that, you don't want this beautiful thing called Ethereum to be hijacked or taking over by things that will be considered a scam or considered bad projects 2 or 3 years from now, right? I mean, when we look back at 2017 and we look at ICOs and we're seeing, gosh, look how many bad ICOs were out there. All right, that taints Celsius, for example, right? We think we're a great project. We're an ICO. And it's true that most of those projects did not come through. They did not deliver on their promise, and people just ran away with the money. So you don't want that to happen to Ethereum, right? Ethereum has this amazing promise. Tremendous thousands of programmers all over the world are working on Ethereum 2.0, on sharding, on all these great technologies that we're all going to use to make DeFi even better. But the implementations today, and that's what I think Vitalik is really worried about, that these implementations are short-term thinking. They're just about gamification and grabbing as much as possible instead of building the future of finance. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Have a great weekend. We're working for you 7 days a week.
It's true. Bye.
Take care.